Thanks for tuning in to Bro Media Podcast here. Welcome. We really appreciate you guys sticking with us. I know we haven't posted in a little while, in a little short while. A lot of stuff happening. We're going to share it all with you today. I'm Lazarus. I'm your co-host here. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a guitarist, musician. I'll tell you on my highs, but I am a new guitarist for my new church. So,
Ooh, nice.
yep. So a lot of great stuff happening, and I am here with my co-host. Go for it, Ryan.
What's up, buddy? I want to ask you about that. That sounds cool. My name is Ryan Carlisle. I am a co-host of the Bro Media podcast, and man, there's so much to talk about this
It
week.
really is. We have to jump on.
Yeah, we've been slacking a little bit. The past couple of weeks, I had a birthday, and work has been busy and stressful, and all the things that come with the summer heat here in Arizona. Early starts and late nights, and just we're trudging through it, man. Most people from Arizona don't rock a tan. We rock like farmers tans,
Yep.
I'm darker here, but if I didn't have a tattoo on this arm, I can show you on this side.
I see it.
Yeah, it's bad, man. We try to stay out of the sun. When you work in it, it's a nightmare. So, yeah, we've been getting up at like 4:45, 5 in the morning, trying to be on site, first break light, and work until 11, and then go do some other jobs indoors and stuff. So it's been pretty hectic and busy.
Definitely.
How you been, man? I know you had a trip.
So I'll give you my highs and lows since it's been a minute since we've posted. I've been traveling a little bit with the family. We went so highs. Let's talk about highs. On my end, we went to San Diego. Spent a few days at the beach and at the pools. Kids loved it. We went on the same trip. Took the kids down to Universal Studios. They wanted to see the new Mario Nintendo World.
Nice.
Honestly, a little bit underwhelming. You know what I mean? But
was it?
Yeah, it was. Like
what about it was you just had better expectations for it? Or?
Yeah, like everything you need, like the little side activities. You needed that little wristband that they advertise, and it's like $60 each, I believe. So if you were to do that and you have 3, 4 kids, that gets expensive. You know what I mean? Really quick.
Yeah.
And the ride was underwhelming just because of the ride mechanic, and it kept on shutting off on and off on us. So it's like you couldn't really immerse yourself in there. Also, and you couldn't even just walk into the little cafe they had to try like their little theme like snacks or whatever that they had. So a little bit underwhelming, but the kids had a great time though. So that's what really
That's
matters.
Good. Yeah, it's probably way bigger of a deal to them than all the logistics as parents, figuring out the trip and everything. They probably was super stoked on that.
Yeah.
I saw some highlights on Instagram from that.
Yeah, so and a few more things. Again, it's been like 2.5 weeks since we posted. Last week on Thursday, I had an audition with my church band. It's been a while since I've had to put myself in that type of position where like, hey, am I any good? You know what I mean? Can I jam with you guys?
Yeah.
And it was a great experience because I know I've been trying to play with the church band for months now, and schedules haven't really aligned with their schedule for me to come in. And the worship director, he messaged me. He's like, hey, Laz, I know this is last minute. Can you come in Thursday? And this was Tuesday night. And I was like, okay, so I have one day to like learn music. And it's been a while since I've been put in that type of scenario where like you got to learn music like quick. So I took it as a challenge, as a musician, I haven't pushed myself that hard in a while. Especially a lot of times, a lot of the stuff is you're learning from ear. Like
this isn't chart music, right? This is just
no. So like the parts that I was doing is completely like the lead parts of a song. So I mean, I'm used to finding out like, okay, kind of like the typical church progressions, so it kind of helps out like to know what, but I sometimes when I can't hear a certain part, I just make up my own part. You know, that
Yeah.
sounds like what they're playing,
Yeah.
but I sometimes like have listened to backtracks before. They're like, oh, I'm doing completely something different, but it sounds very similar. Anyways,
Yeah.
I went Thursday and um, I mastered one song and I told the guy too. It's like, hey, I short short notice, but I mastered the whole song. So let's jam. She was like, no worries, we'll just jam through it or whatever. And like it clicked, you know what I mean? Like was up there and jammed out really good. I posted a picture on Instagram, like where I set up on the side of the stage and everything. I had my Les Paul on there.
You did? How did I miss that?
You didn't see it? Yeah.
Is it a story?
Um, it was a story. Here, I think I.
It's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone. Here, hold on.
I was like, how did I miss that? I usually see all your stories and.
All right, so I'll do the little. Oh wait, it's probably too bright, huh?
No, I saw it for a second.
I'll turn it down just a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think I might have saw that, but I wasn't sure what it was. Like I just thought it looked like
Yeah, that's me at church. I was setting up and everything.
a big stage.
Yeah, it's pretty.
So this is a new church.
Yeah, new church. It's right off of, where the public library is downtown.
Oh yeah,
Literally,
it looks kind of big, right? Is it big?
Literally across the street from there.
Nice.
So yeah, played. I vibe really good with the band. It was pretty, just a good experience there. Again, it's like
That's good.
it's different from playing for yourself. You know what I mean? Like when you're in a band, you're just playing. You know, there's ego behind it. You know what I mean? There's that vibe. You know.
Yeah.
This is different. It's more because for me, it's an outward expression. It's an outward, worship. So,
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's awesome, man.
So all everything went good right off the bat. The guy was just like, "Holy smokes! Like your tone sounds really good." And I'm a guitarist. I love gear. I love sounding good. So
You showed up with your best shoes on.
I
and you had all your-
I sure did. He was like dissecting my gear and like what was I doing. He had a really expensive like $3,000 Axe Effects. It's like a digital model. And I'm playing through a Line 6 HX Stomp, which is like just under $600. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You have that Kemper too, yeah?
I do have the Kemper in here over here on the rack, but
Yeah.
I don't.
You didn't bring that one?
No, I didn't. But he was just like, you got that sound out of that little thing. It was like, and it's a lot of tweaking. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of time spent on there.
That's cool, man.
Then the last thing, me and the wife and her sister, we went to Vegas this last weekend, and just had a great time. They went to go see Missy Elliott, and I just kind of did my own thing. Played craps, a little blackjack. I did better at the slots than I did at craps and blackjack this time around.
Wow.
Yeah, look,
Reverse odds.
I usually don't play slots.
Yeah.
And they were just paying out or something. I don't know. Something was in the slots. Something was in the air there.
That's cool.
But yeah, so a lot of great stuff and not so many since we're talking downs or anything like that. Just been busy with work,
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. It means job security,
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So I've definitely been just busy. So I'll pass it on to you. Your high and your lows.
Yeah, man. I mean, gosh, well, we haven't done this in a while. I think maybe a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, shoot, I got to come over and dust off my vocals again and lay some tracks down with you. And that was a lot of fun, man. And I really enjoyed that mental struggle that goes on when you like, when you used to do it every day, for hours a day, and you're as a vocalist, to go in and just kind of see if you can still do it. For one,
For you guys wondering, we took some of his old music from here. I got the CD case from Halogen.
Look at the young guy inside there. If you open that up,
All right.
I'll show you. Look at the young version of me.
So Ryan here
Dirty
recorded.
kid. There I am on the left. And it looks like I have bleached blonde hair, but that's not the case. So from left to right, that's me, and then Lance, Wade, and Nate.
Yeah.
And that was we're on the marquee there at the Whiskey.
Yeah, I've seen that picture before. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool time. We were sponsored at the time right there by Rusty, which was like a surf gear clothes. So we had everything from head to toe. We were wearing Rusty gear. It was, sort of a fun time.
So yeah, we took these some of these songs, and AI is pretty cool nowadays. You can rip old vocals from songs and in a non-destructive way. And he re-recorded 2 tracks, and I was just amazed of how great of a voice Ryan has. And
thank you, man.
Yeah. So
it's weird when you're around other musicians that you respect, and you know maybe we never shared a stage together, so it's like that. I hope it's okay. You hope it's all right. I was used to singing and being around, the guys from my old band. So it was a really long. It was wild to dust it off, man, and to hear yourself raw, with no tracks, literally just singing. Well, it sounds a cappella, but there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in your ears, and I was okay with it. I was happy with it. That's literally the first time that I really tried to sing again. Like actually put myself back in that time frame. And it is interesting. Like I just let it go. I just remembered, and I felt like my voice finally just went, okay, I'll do it. And it remembered, and it was awesome, man. And, from that, I'm super excited to, have met now, was it Adam, your bass player?
Yep.
That you played in other bands with.
Yep.
And oh my gosh, I always forget her name, but Brianna. She is an awesome songbird and an amazing drummer. And I just found out another high, skipping to like a week or so, that I'm the new singer of some band that's to be yet determined the name of.
Yep.
So I'm stoked on that. So that'll be interesting to see, in the future what we're going to put together. Not sure what that looks like, but I'm super excited about it.
I think everybody is right now.
Yeah. So I'd like to, we could do a meeting and hang out and, stand around and
talk and share experiences, influences. I love those types of conversations.
Yeah, for sure. It reminds me too of a different time, way easier of a lifetime, but it was just different. It was a totally different time of life. The mid 90s to early 2000s was just a completely cool time to be for me. What a neat time. You don't really realize those were the good old days until they're gone. A lot of it's like that, where you're meeting with your boys every day, you're touring the circuit, you're playing music, you're doing what you love, and you just it's just part of your life. You don't even think about it. And then one day you grow up and you have more responsibilities and you start a business and life's different. Then you remind yourself that you still really love music. You really love it. You love being around other people that are smart and intelligent and know, the ins and outs of music. And it just gets exciting for me from there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
That was 2 highs. My birthday was on last Saturday.
Jeez,
and thanks, man. And we went to, we were supposed to go to San Diego. Ended up, it was going to be way too much driving. Go to San Diego for, 6-hour drive there and then see a concert and then sleep and then 6 hours drive back and then get ready for the work week. I was just like, let's just stay in town.
We're not young bucks like that anymore.
Yeah. So one thing I don't really ever do is I've never been to a casino here in Arizona.
Really?
I've never been inside. Okay. Yeah. I mean, like maybe back in like 2000 early days when they were fresh, like the Cueva one, before it was really anything. So I was very surprised that they had craps and roulette and blackjack and all that. My mom and used to play the double diamonds and the sizzling sevens, and I was really surprised to see that most of the slot machines are these giant machines now. They're not the traditional. They're still there, but they're kind of corralled into a small area.
Mm-hmm.
And clear as day, I could hear my mom's voice. You know, those that don't know, she passed away in 2016, but she manages to show up for in wild places in my mind, and just for encouragement, like clear as day, could hear her voice. It's pretty wild. It's pretty cool. Was like, hey, you should play the Sizzling Sevens machine exactly the day, the time you were born. So I looked it up. My birth certificate, it was 3:24 p.m. and it was like 5 minutes away. So I start walking looking for a Sizzling Seven, which I don't gamble. I don't really. I just remember her saying those words. Sizzling, I hit the triple sevens. You know? Like, cool, I don't know what that means. So I saw one in the distance, so we walked over to it. I was like, you know what? That's fun. It's my birthday. I'll throw some money in there and we'll see what happens. I bet, hit the bet all twice, hit it one more time, right at my birthday, and I hit the triple sevens. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, it was a special moment because I was like, that was weird that I felt that way and I felt inclined to do it. It just popped into my head, and the fact that I'm even at a casino, because I don't gamble, So it was fun to experience that that kind of connection that you can get, if you're open to it.
Yeah.
And then we went to dinner. The steakhouse that was there, it was awesome. One of the best meals I've had ever. Gets great reviews. Oh man, we had this appetizer that was basically like a steak. It's just cut up into bites, and then I got a steak for dinner, and the wife got the salmon, and I got a really nice glass of wine, and it was just the best meat steak I think I've ever had. I would do it again.
Heck yeah.
It was a little pricey, but it was fun.
Nothing wrong with it, treating yourself once in a while.
No, it was good. It was fun. And then Sunday was just a chill day, man. So much needed, just relaxing, catching up on the shows and stuff. I enjoy downtime because I'm so busy. So I do enjoy like just lounging around if I can on the weekends. Being on the go, I'm like that, all week. So if I can have some downtime to recharge, and getting older, man, I gotta have my batteries take longer to charge up for the week. But yeah, it's been a good week. The lows were really just kind of, being let down by a few deals that didn't happen when I needed them to, with work but that's the part of business, man. You just have to have faith and keep pushing. You can't let yourself down or feel down. It's just that becomes a dark cloud, and that energy doesn't do you any good. So you might as well just, hey man, you can't count it until it's actually happening. So just keep pushing and figure something out. Something else will pop up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, other than that, man, speaking of Saturday though, we were going to touch base on this. So we were walking back from I won the money, right? And I was like, all right, well, I don't want to play anymore because I don't want it to be giving. I just want it to I won, so I don't want to give it back. So I was like, we cashed out and we're walking back to the room. We were going to go change and get ready for dinner. And as we're turning into the elevator area, there's an older dude, like a Vietnam vet era, like type dude sitting in a wheelchair. And he's on the phone. And he just yells, "What? Trump got shot in the face?" And I'm like looking at him, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, "What?" And he kept saying it over and over again. He takes off in his wheelchair, his little power chair. He's like, and so we get in the elevator, and I bust out my phone and just type in Trump shot, and then it just wall of it. I was like, it actually happened. We got back up to the room, and we're both sitting there just like fact finding on our phones and looking at different.
Before we get to the facts, I'll tell you where I was at. We were actually we had just ordered In-N-Out right there by the Link in Vegas. The Link has a little promenade hallway or with like stores.
They have zip lines.
Zip line, yep.
Yeah.
At the end of that, you see that big old Ferris wheel looking thing with the bars in it. So we're at the In-N-Out there. We had just ordered our food. We had just sat down. We're taking a few bites. And then my sister, we have like a little family text. She sent us a text. My wife saw it first. I was, too hungry, mid bite.
Yeah.
And then she tells me, she's all like, what? Like, Trump got shot. Same thing, like, and I'm like, what? Like, no way. Like, obviously, it's hard to believe unless you actually
Yeah. It's
see
breaking news. So you're just
breaking
like,
news. There's a shock towards
yeah.
towards that.
And at first I was like, but how bad did he get shot in the face?
Well,
And then the streaks, I'm like, I think he got shot in the mouth and it went out of his face.
all
Like,
those
because you didn't know.
all those thoughts came to my mind. Like, is he dead? Is he
Yeah.
What's the degree of this? What situation? And then at the end, also, like, I was like, what's gonna happen to our country? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, dude.
like
Yeah.
this is serious stuff. So
It's popping off. It's
So-
yeah.
kind of like to the point, because I want to take it in stages so that we just kind of
Yeah.
talk through it deeply and
Mhm.
and just kind of keep going, because it gets intense the more that you talk about it and look
Yeah.
into it. It gets very
Yeah.
very deep. So I think we were probably the first table to get into, like, I got on X and just started scrolling,
Mm-hmm.
and I started seeing everything. And me and my wife, we're glued to our screens. Nobody else around us was.
And it's quiet, right? Like no one's talking.
Everybody was quiet, and like eating. They're having fun. You see people walking down the promenade, and then like not like they haven't gotten the breaking news yet. You know what I mean? And then we're like deep. We're scrolling. I finally, like, maybe like 2-3 minutes later, there's a table to my left, and they're like, Trump got shot. And they start doing the same thing, scrolling. So it was just like slowly, but like everybody started kind of like slowing down and stopping. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It didn't come to a complete stop, because obviously people, like, they're having fun in Vegas. They're not glued
Right.
to their phones or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, that was my experience up to that point, where everybody was in shock. Like,
Yeah.
is this really happening?
Yeah. I mean, if you were going to get shot in the face, that is the place to get shot in the face. I mean, that is such a small, what an amazing way of being protected. Like, what else, what other proof do you need that, protection from above is a real thing? What other confirmation can you possibly imagine? I mean, yeah, sure, there's luck in everything we do, right? But it depends on, that magnitude of something like that. Before I could figure out what was actually happening, I thought, because of this, I thought he had a puncture wound in his cheek. And then because I believed it was I don't know what the actual round, if it was a subsonic 223 or a subsonic 556 or subsonic 22. It was quiet. I mean, as a firearms dude, that shoots suppressed. It sounded like a suppressed subsonic round. They fly under 1,000 feet per second. They don't, there's no crack because it's not breaking the sound barrier. And it also sounded like, to me, before they actually discovered where the shooter was, it sounded like he was in the front row, because I could hear an audible trigger reset. Because of training, when you fire and if you release the trigger slowly, you'll hear a click. That means it's reset. You squeeze again. And I swear you could hear it like it's next to a microphone. So I'm thinking, this guy was in the front row. How'd he get there? And then as the story unfolds, we're seeing Trump stand up and what a gangster, dude. Like, what a gangster. That's, most people, when they're faced with fear or anything scary, that's really, you see the real person that they are. Are you, yeah, it's natural to be scared, but to be fearful is different. With the business owners, it's a scary thing, but I'm not in fear, same thing. He went down, he got up, he was a G, he was like, just
Definitely, definitely
Yeah.
a powerful moment. So, like,
yeah. I remember texting him, like, our kids kids will be reading about this and in the history books. Like this was a move.
This is
I remember when Reagan got shot.
I was just gonna say, this is our Reagan, this is our Teddy Roosevelt scenario.
Yeah.
Like this is completely historical event, and I hate to even say that it's obviously not a good thing that it happened or whatever, but as I would watch the video that you're describing, that shots fired, you see Trump flinch, because he got clipped in the ear. What's people fail to Trump survived, but there's one person that took that bullet behind him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's the footage keeps popping up at different angles, which I'm confused about because of
I think everybody is right now, like super confused. Angles.
the guy that got shot to the far left in the balcony, like the bleachers, wasn't in line with him. I don't think it wasn't. I don't know if he realized he was going to go out. He just turned and just kept firing. Whatever. I don't know. It's speculation, but
yeah.
Bullets do weird stuff. Like they're not. It's not
that's
not as simple as pulling a trigger. There's a lot to it.
That's the sad part. So that I also think about is like this person went to celebrate, support his presidential candidate, not knowing that it was going to be his last moment of life. So I feel bad for the family and the condolences to them, and the pain that they're suffering right now. Like that.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. It's just like us going to Circle K, not knowing that something could happen there. You know what I mean? Like,
right. Yeah.
Like,
it's the innocent life lost.
Exactly.
He was just there doing what he felt he wanted to be doing with his family.
I just wanted to acknowledge that, just because, a lot of times it obviously Trump is in the limelight. He takes, most of the stage or whatever, but a lot of people forget that life was lost. So wanted to highlight that there, but
in fact, that was one of the things I really appreciated. One of the first things he said in his first statement was, for the families that were injured and for the life lost, and he touched on that first, which I thought was real gentleman stand-up thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. Very gentleman, very classy. Even though he could have literally gone. I mean, he has a full right to, complain that he got shot. He didn't take that avenue. You know what I mean? Maybe in private, but we don't know. I won't speculate that, but
right.
What I saw is I definitely saw leadership, especially that moment where.
Yeah, that was powerful. I was like
that moment where, they could have, Secret Service. And we'll talk in Secret Service in a second. I don't want to dismiss them and let them off the hook.
Right.
But he threw up his fist, and just to tell my interpretation, to tell the people there, one, that he's good, and two, that this isn't over.
Right. Yeah. No, it's about, yeah. Yeah. It was
like super powerful. The picture's powerful. I want that on a t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like
I know. I was like, man, if we had an Etsy shop and ways to get that cracking, man, that would have been something happening.
So we're at the point where they got him back up, and they got him off stage, took him out or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the first things that I was paying attention to, and I'll say this as gracefully as possible. I watched that video, and both me and my wife were watching it at the same time. We were, what the heck are those? There's 3 women Secret Service agents doing. There was a short one.
Yeah,
it's kind of on the chubby end. I hate to oversized, whatever PC word you want to put in there.
Yeah,
there was and then the middle girl
she was health challenged.
So the middle girl with the ponytail towards the end of the video, where she closed the door on Trump, and then she's just turning in circles.
Yeah,
and the one on the right also duck in, not knowing what. I counted 3. That's just the beginning of my.
Dude, Yeah, and then add to that, having a really close friend, one of my best friends is a first responder and works in law enforcement. We're taught, to become if we're at somewhere and we start getting fired at, we become small and we get to go for cover or concealment and try to get away or engage. When you're the Secret Service, you're trained to get bigger. You want to be as big as possible, and you're literally now a meat shield for that person that you're sworn to protect. In most cases, it's very high-end people,
I'm not a security expert at all. But I can see when there's deficiency in a process. You know what I mean? Like how they reacted. When I think Secret Service, I think the most elite,
yeah,
like security in the world.
Sure.
And what I saw was subpar to that. Like if I was a world leader, China, whatever, Iran, Russia, everybody likes to point fingers at Russia a lot. And if I saw that video, I'd be like, these fools don't know what they're doing.
That was a security team from Timu, or Wish. It was bad. Learning about their history and where they came from. Some of them, were like Coca-Cola or Pepsi factory workers, security guards.
It's crazy how much information we have at our disposal nowadays.
Yeah,
we can find background on these people so fast.
Yeah,
and it's a disappointment, man.
It is. It's crazy to me that this guy, and as a security expert for doing what I do, when I go to businesses or houses, I become the burglar, I become the bad guy. I think, well, how would I get in here? If I needed to get in here and execute some theft, or if I needed to harm someone, how would I do it in this particular place? Well, and then I fix it to where it makes it really, really hard for that to happen. So in this case, if I was, setting up a perimeter, or if I had security detail, my job was to make sure that all my ends were covered. The best place in the whole place to be a bad guy was on that building. That was the best seat in the house to be an assassin. There was no other better angle that you could possibly have.
And I wanted to ask you this.
And nobody was up there,
Because I do consider you an expert in security because of the field that you're in. So I'll talk from the moment that the first shots rang out to the moment that Trump was in the car. What's your perspective? What should have happened?
Oh man, they took too much time to really get a plan together. They were like, it was like somebody hit it looked like somebody hit a beehive, right? And all the bees come out and they're confused and they're just buzzing around and they're making a lot of commotion, but nothing's really happening, You can hear the snipers taking action on the roof. There was some weird stuff happening, and I always started looking in the back. There was some weird stuff happening in the bleachers. The lady in particular, actually, I saw it, and then it became a thing.
Yep, I saw
like a few days later. I'm like, why did she just bust her camera out? She's chilling. She actually had a little smirk on her face.
Yep.
So, these people were like walked in to do bad things, but that's that total tangent. But the way that the one, I know it makes for a cool picture because you can see his face, but you shouldn't see him at all. He should have become a giant blob of suits, and undetectable of where he is in that human meat shield bubble as they got him off the stage quick, I know that it worked out because there was only one person, that was involved, thankfully. And, well, at least that we know of.
You're right.
Because you never know, but, it feels like a lot of time went by. I think it was like, was it 3 or 4 minutes before they were driving out of there?
To me, time slowed down. after
Yeah.
those shots, and each second was 1-2 seconds too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if you go back and you replay like when Reagan was attacked at the stand, he was talking.
They took him out of the X really fast,
Dude,
so
they
fast.
they blew up in his face like a human grenade. Like they just swarmed that dude, and that's what should happen. You want a big burly dude. You want a man that can shock you with his strength. Like you want somebody that can walk up and just pound you into the ground like a nail and eliminate the issue. These smaller people, I mean, nothing against females, they're tough as hell. They're tougher than most men. They can birth children. They can have all kinds of things happen to them. They can bleed and not die. Like they're great humans. I love women. However, putting a smaller size frame human in the mix with someone that's already tall doesn't make any sense. You would almost need like you want somebody taller than the person you're protecting, you know, so that they can still maneuver and still cover and make decisions. And you know, it made for a great picture because you could see the president, you could see everything. However, you know, it could have been a lot worse. I mean, seconds could have been, you know, what we could have saw on TV would have been, you know, pink mist versus, you know, I just saw something that was pretty incredible. I'll show you, but
Oh yeah, I saw that too. Kind of like the perfect angle that he had.
Yeah. It's basically like that's a matter of hitting and missing, you know, and that was pretty impressive. Like if we would have saw that shot and how it was intended, it would have changed a lot of things for a lot of people. You know, it would have. I think it would have made the people on Trump's side think, you know, this was an all-out attack and war, and you know, same thing if Biden is taken out, right? Like if somebody was to do the same thing, if it was the roles were reversed, you know, it would cause more division that we already have because we would
catastrophic to our society.
Yeah, the Republicans and people that voted for Trump will think, oh, my leader is gone. You know, we have to, you know, now we have to be the leaders, and then who knows? You know, it's all. I think that I'm very thankful that you know the children and everything else that were there and saw all this just saw that little. It looked like he was swatting like a mosquito before you know. But that dude got off a lot of shots. I think he got off. I think between 4 and 6 shots, was it?
I think
I have to go back.
There's a video that shows a really good time lapse of those shots, and it tells you boom, 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 and it counts it. We would have to find it, but it was a really good video. How it kind of showed you how many from different rifles too, because you can hear you can hear the different frequencies. Okay, this one came from this certain rifle. This one came from something different. This came from. I think there might have been like 4 or 5 different guns.
One of the snipers was running a 308, which that's probably like if he's the one that got him, that
for sure ripped him. I mean, that gets a deer. Good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bad round. You know, it's gonna over penetrate and do what it's supposed to do and nasty things and. But I'm just curious, like they don't talk about, and they haven't yet, at least I'm sure I want to, just how they have a diagram of how it went down and how they failed. And apparently the building that dude was on top of, there was full of cops inside of it.
Well, that's one of the items I wanted to touch on too, just because it's been quite a few days already. There's a lot of video coming out from, people that were actually there. From what I've seen so far, there's been about 26 minutes worth of footage of people saying something's wrong, somebody's up there, to police trying to engage them, backing down, and even up to the point where he's laying flat, and they put a video side by side and synced it up to when Trump's up there talking. We're talking about 2-minute span. People are pretty frantic at this point. Like, hey, somebody's up there. They got a rifle, and nobody does anything. And to your point, the reports have already come out that the building that he was on top of, like you said, it was filled by law enforcement slash, Secret Service.
Yeah. Well, it was reported too. An officer went up there.
Right. That's the one that I meant by the one
Yeah.
that engaged them and backed down.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're an officer, if you're the attacker and I'm the officer and you're pointing a gun at me, you're not pointing at anyone else. And I can deal with that as a trained officer is trained to do. Excuse me. And so to get scared and turn around and go down, and as soon as he went down is when he just rolled over and took his shots because he probably knew that
Was it.
his time was coming. But it really looked like the snipers had him pretty much being monitored. If you look at the slight adjustment, I mean, literally it was probably overwatching through a red dot, and he went, oh, and got on target and laid it down. I mean, that's from different angles. You just don't know, but no drones flying, no helicopters, no real perimeter. They had two snipers next to each other.
I believe
Two counter snipers next to each other.
I believe they've already said that there was 2 Secret Service snipers and 2 local PD.
That was not, yeah,
or 2 SWAT or something like that. So I think
But there's video of this dude wandering around, looking up at the buildings and stuff, like kind of wondering, maybe he was planning it. How did he walk into a place with a rifle? Rifles. It doesn't really talk about what his rifle was. It just says it's some sort of, an AR-15 rifle, but that could be anything. It could be a 22. It could be, it wasn't anything really bigger than a 2.23 or 5.56, but it could be 300 blackout. It could be 6.8. It could be whatever you want it to be in that format. It's a very versatile frame, but the way it sounded to me was a suppressed 9mm. Listening to it from the cameras, and I'm like, that sounds like so close. Which it also could have been a 9mm in an AR format, subsonic, quiet. It's a very quiet round. It sounds like a sewing machine when you have it on the suppression. But I don't know. They don't talk about the setup. Doesn't talk about that.
I don't think that's the type of information we've seen yet. I'm always the one that I always wait for more information. I rather have more information before I start really forming an opinion. But I can tell you from the information so far, there's intentional negligence. And this leads, tinfoil hat moment, that I can probably start saying this is probably an inside job.
Yeah. I mean,
but I need more proof to prove that, and I don't think as a nation we're ever going to get that.
Right.
Because, let them release, Roosevelt's murder, and that'll dissolve the fabric of our Constitution, maybe out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, like. This just it doesn't smell right. You know what I mean? And if anything,
that's just giant loopholes, man. Like giant loopholes.
If you're not asking questions, then I feel like you're not doing the job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody should be asking every single question possible to figure out what went wrong.
Yeah. What
happened? Who's involved? And everything.
And it's not a Trump thing or a Biden thing. Nobody, especially in politics, man, if you can't debate and stand up for your cause and not incite hate and anger, that's the idea is to not have that happen. It's to keep peace. It's to be a nation united, and the United States. and so this company is so far divided that it's just, these people are snapping out. The kid that did this was known as the nickname the school shooter. They used to make fun of him. These are all things that have come into light, that I've heard and read, stories of people that went to school with him. And giving interviews and stuff like that. It's sad. That goes back to a few podcasts ago talking about mental health issues. You know, this dude freaking snapped out. You know, and even though he hated Trump and he hated all that stuff, and he was registered as a Republican, but he was donating to Democratic parties, Democratic events and things like. There's some weird stuff there. There's in BlackRock. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's showing up in BlackRock commercials.
Parents or behavior therapists.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there's just so much to unpack. You know, like, and I don't think we might have to redo another episode to like a week from now, just because there's going to be
When
more
there's
information.
More stuff. Yeah, more stuff.
comes
Really,
out.
yeah. No, I
But right
agree.
now, this is like really kind of like our first initial reaction.
Yeah,
We're-
to timestamp this episode, this is the day Biden was diagnosed with COVID.
COVID.
And so that's kind of a time frame of what we know from Saturday to now. Basically, there's a. I didn't think, COVID was really
I think
that prominent, but I mean, obviously, hoping for a recovery for that dude because even though he may not be your president that you voted for, you still got people that wouldn't want him to die.
That's one thing that I want to bring up is the state of like the union of where people are right now. Because I'm not sure if you've been paying a lot of attention on X or Facebook or Instagram, but we're divided.
So bad.
There's people that are posting nonsensical things like we missed.
Yeah.
Like that stuff.
Oh.
That stuff is
Tenacious D just ended their career.
that stuff is trending. Yeah, Tenacious D. There's teachers. There's nurses. There's
Yeah.
lawyers. There's people posting this nonsensical. It's time to be, have heart right now. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want this to happen to Biden.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
he's
I have.
even though I didn't vote for him, but he's my president. Have you ever heard the comparison? Like, I can talk all the stuff that I want about my brother, but you better not talk about my brother.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like we as a nation need to have that mentality. It's like, yeah, we can have our family fights, whatever, but when stuff like this pops, we need to unite.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
you're my brother. Person on the left is my brother in this United States. Because coming to war, somebody else attacks us. Well, guess what? We're one nation. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah. That's very well put. I would hope that there's still an ounce of that to be integritous if something ever was to happen. Last time we really saw something like that was 9/11. I think.
9/11. I remember that.
Yeah, and it didn't matter what side of the fence you were on. Hands were reached out. People did what they had to do to help each other. And it was beautiful. It was a reset. And I feel like every so often our nation goes through a reset. And sorry, my eyes are like bloodshot. I'm so tired. I've been up
No,
since
you're good.
4:30 this morning. Our nation goes through resets. Something tragic happens, and the world and the nation come together, and it works for a little while, and then it stops working. We get complacent, we get just comfortable in our ways, and I start to see division again, and we start to feel like, oh, I can stand up for myself. Tell that guy he's dumb, and he's and start causing rifts, little mini tears everywhere in the system. And then it happens again, down the road, it'll happen again. And it seems to be like a pattern that I've seen, just as a little guy growing up, watching division slowly happen and then a reset. So, I mean, I hope that I'm really thankful that the outcome for Trump wasn't worse, I think it's a great story now. And I think it will be like it will go down in history as like one of the most
Sure is.
what a story he has, whether you like him or not. Like, what a story that guy comes with. All the things that he's been, charged for.
Enduring.
And just gone through, like just after him to put him down. like literally put him down. And he's able to come out. Like there has to be, you know, there's a barrier of protection for people like that. There's something special there. Maybe he's not the way, he doesn't talk the way you want him to talk or whatever. But I mean, if I go back years ago when he was in office, things were different here in the United States. Things were definitely different. You know, I saw benefits that I don't see now for my business, for my family, for all of those things, even at the grocery stores. So will it change if he's elected? Not right away. Probably not even for years. You know, it's not an instant fix. It's one of those things that at least maybe we'll see some change, you know, in the next 5 years. Depends, really. I think as president, 4 years is
It's not enough time.
it's really not enough time to get things rocking.
I think
You almost
if
have to
people-
win back to back.
I
You
think
know,
if people really want to see change, it needs to start at home. Not to worry about these geopolitical issues and things that are out of our control. The
Mhm.
best thing that we can do is affect our communities positively. And I think-
100%.
I think if people put that much focus in rioting, then stealing, then breaking laws, or putting all this negative energy on the internet, imagine if they put that all that energy to do something positive in the neighborhoods.
yeah.
It would change.
Mhm.
It would change.
Yeah, I mean, the smallest vibrations cause a wave, you know, and that's really it's energy, it's frequency, it's positivity. It's proven in science. It's proven with actual demonstrations with sound waves. It's proven with the way that we treat each other. You know, the emotions that we feel from each other. It really starts from the heart and you know in your home and spreading that desire to go out and do good for people. Be nice, be good for no reason. We talk about that a lot in our podcasts. It's true, man. Like you can, if you can change one person, the chances are that person's going to change the person's too. He's not, you know, he or she is going to go forward and try to spread it out, you know, and send it. If you're negative and you're a dark cloud, you know, of Debbie Downer type vibe, then, you know, you're going to attract that, you know, that saying of, you know, show me your circle of friends and you'll know your success. Same thing, you know,
Definitely.
you gotta be willing to cause the small ripples. I mean, every single human can make a difference. It's not just one guy, you know. I mean, it does help to have somebody in the office that knows what they're doing, but like, you know, like you said, the tangible thing for change is where you're at in your communities, in your schools, in you know your outreach, your HOA, the people that you associate with. Like that's what you can control. That's your environment, you know. And we all have it. So if we're all growing a positive environment, eventually those little ripples they meet, you know.
Sure do.
And
It's contagious. It's just that
Yeah.
negativity is contagious. Positivity is more powerful.
100%. Yeah,
Better
So-
outcomes.
yeah, big time.
Well, I think we're at that time, brother. I definitely think we're gonna hit this topic up again in the future, and I just want to invite everybody. Please like the page. This is down to earth view of what's happening in our country. Coming from two dads, two hard workers, you know, two musicians, you know, two community members in our community. You know, this is our take of what we saw transpire last Saturday. You know, I was in Vegas, he was here in Phoenix,
Mhm.
and no matter where we were at, you know, we both saw the same thing. We were both, you know, affected. Thoughts went in our mind like, what can this do to our community? To our we got worried. So
Yeah.
I would like to know, where were you when this happened? Put it in the chat. I want to know where you guys were at when this happened. What was your first thought? You know, and let's keep it positive. You know, we're trying to, you know, process this as a nation as we should. And yeah, anything you want to say, Brian?
No, man, that's it. I mean, I'm a little tired today, so I'm a little zapped by the sun. So tried my best to put on my smiley face and conversate with you guys for an hour or so. But it's always good to chat with you, man.
Same.
I losing my voice. That's how tired I am. But you know, with all the events going on, it's nothing. It goes right back to what we always talk about. It's just trying to be nice to people. People are going through stuff. You know, you can contribute to somebody's mental health by just being kind. You know, and I think it goes a really long way. I think that even the shooter, even though he's very disliked and very much like, you know, people are like, good, he got what he got. You know, he FAO'd or FAO or whatever. You know, he went wrong in the home. He went wrong with this circle of friends, the people that were making fun of him. And he never had any help. He never had anybody to really encourage him to not be a crazy, deranged person. That's my take on it. I feel like if he was loved by the community, his friends or people that he had to associate with at schools, and instead of being, you know, pounded over the head with mean things, maybe that this wouldn't have even been an issue. This would have been a non-story. So the power of being positive is so important, you know, in your home, to your family, to your spouse, to your friends, and just outreach to each other and practice love for no reason. It's not that hard. It's free, you know. And if you don't want to, then just don't be negative about it. Don't say anything. You know, just go about your way. Negativity takes away. It's literally a thief of joy. So that's really all I have to say. Try to say that with a smiley face, and I'm exhausted.
No, that
So
was
started
well
hitting me.
That was
Yeah.
well said. That was well said, Ryan.
Thanks, man. Good to see you, man. I'm excited about the music stuff. I'm excited to get our momentum back going again with the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, I got nothing else to add today.
All right, everybody. Everybody have a great day and be kind to each other for no reason.